Hello, my name is Cole Grosseneider, and I'm going to be doing my country project over Chad. For a little bit about Chad, it is located in Central Africa, north of the equator. It is very dry and warm there. They have semi-desert areas, and the climates go from dry to wet very quickly. The economy has expanded by 5% in the past 5 years. They rely on oil and agriculture, and that makes up about 60% of their exports. The citizens don't have access to banks, credit, and financing. That's kind of putting a hold on the private sector. It's making it hard for people to build buildings or even start their own businesses to where they can make their own living. Societal issues. They have a small population of about 14 million. Compared to the U.S., we have over 300 million, so it's a kind of a small population. They have an 87% poverty level in their population, and they are ranked for having some of the highest levels of hunger in the world. They have a younger population, and they have stunted growth due to malnutrition. This is usually seen in children ages 5 and under. About 12% of these 5 and under children have stunted growth due to malnutrition. They rely on farming as one of their main resources, but due to refugees coming in, that is putting a strain on some of the resources that they have. Further, agriculture, this is a big part of their country. They use old equipment. They don't have the technology or the ability to use the technology, the new technology that we use here in the U.S. They have a simple farming method, so they use horses to pull their hoes, so it takes a lot longer for them to cover a lot of ground. They don't have the ability to make the highest yields like we can here in the U.S. They have 85% of their workforce in agriculture, and their main exports would be cotton, cattle, and gum arabic. Their largest export being cotton, their second largest being cattle. A little bit about what they do for cattle is they migrate north in the wet season, and then they migrate back south during the dry season. They have a lot of problems with farmer to ranchers because of the cattle eating the crops from the actual farmers, the grain crops from the farmers. So that is a big conflict there. In the 1990s, gum arabic was big. Chad was actually known as the second largest exporter of gum arabic, which is used in soft drinks such as soda and pharmaceutical products and many other products as well. Here in the top right hand corner you can see a herd of cattle being herded, and that's what it would look like in Chad. And then in the bottom lower left you can see a son and his father out working a field. The horse is pulling the plow, and you can tell that having just one blade makes it a long process, and it makes it very hard to cover a lot of ground. So progress in Chad, the economy expanded by 5% in 5 years. As you can tell, I mentioned this earlier, it's sustaining pretty well, and it's gradually increasing 1% each year. Declining infant mortality rate. This has been going on for the past 25 years. It has steadily been declining. Imports and exports are increasing, which I will touch on a little bit after this last point, and they need to reevaluate their budget for the government to kind of figure out where they need to specialize their money or focus their points. For import, and these are the import and export charts. So as you can tell, between 2003 and 2009, in 2003 they were importing 600 million in volume, and in 2009 they were importing a little over 1.6 billion in volume. And then, so as you can tell, they've increased their importing, and for their exports, they have exported below 500 million, and in 2009 they have exported probably a little over 4.5 billion in volume. So as you can tell, Chad imports a lot less than they export. They export a lot. But also with the exports, you can tell that it's made a drastic increase in the past 6 years. So